It's time for some wild, outrageous predictions. I'm Stephen Means. That's Stefan Krajisnik. That's Andrew Gillis. Ohio State faces Western Michigan as its Week 2 opponent. Let's get wild with this. Let's get outrageous with this. Stefan, what's your outrageous prediction for Ohio State's Week 2 opponent?
I predict Ohio State will double what its halftime lead was against Akron. I think Ohio State's going to have at least a 28-point lead going into halftime. I think this is a team that's going to want to come out quicker on offense, faster on offense, get some points on the board early, and not leave fans kind of uneasy at halftime. I think Chip Kelly is going to be aggressive, and I think this offensive line is going to be gelled a little bit more going into Week 2 than it was at the start of Week 1. So I think Ohio State is going to come out early, even against a Western Michigan team that played pretty well and had a fourth-quarter lead against Wisconsin. I think they're going to land some punches early, really pull away, and I think in the second half, late third quarter, early fourth quarter, we'll get a chance to see some more backups get reps than we did against Akron.
The more I think about this game, the more I'm coming around to. I think you might be right. Back in 2022, when they played Toledo, the offense put up 77 points that day. I'm not saying that's going to be the score. Checking on the game predictions later this week to see what that's going to be. But the offense was just clicking that day and just kind of ran the table against Toledo. And I'm wondering if you might see a similar thing because they got past that game too and ended up with 77 points. Andrew, get crazy.
For those of you that play fantasy football, I don't even know if there is fantasy football with college sports, but typically you see, like if you have a defense in like NFL fantasy, you see D/ST, defense special teams. Ohio State's going to score 2 touchdowns on defense and special teams on Saturday. So I'm going to include the punt and kick in that, but I'm also going to include defense in that as well. I think they're going to get 2 touchdowns that are non-offensive touchdowns. I think we saw it with the defense. There is an emphasis on being aggressive this year. I mean, I think the corners are trying to jump routes. I think they're trying to strip the ball out. That is one thing that this defense, which was one of the best in college football, did not do last year. I think we saw this past weekend that they've been very close to breaking one on special teams or, a kick return or a punt return or whatever. So I think Ohio State's going to score 14 points, not on offense this week. I think Ohio State's going to have that. I mean, they scored 14 last week on defense. They were very close on special teams. I think we're going to get another 14 this week. I do want to expand that out to special teams, but 14 non-offensive points, that's pretty significant. So I think that is what is in store for Saturday. I think Ohio State's really going to take advantage. I think the offense is going to look a little bit cleaner, and I think when you add in those 14 points, I think it might get pretty ugly.
That would be so outrageous had they not done it 6 days ago.
Doing it again is pretty outrageous.
They just did it.
It was pretty outrageous when they did it.
Yeah, it wasn't that crazy. It was Akron. And you kind of stole mine, so I'm going to make him only a defensive guy. 3,577 days. That's how long it's been since Ohio State has taken a punt return back for a touchdown. Brandon Ennis got really close, and if you rewatch the game, they even zoomed in on him. He's going, I'm this close. I'm this close. I'm this close. I asked him about that. He said the reason why is because he knew that was going to be the last time he got a chance to do it. Because if you remember, the next time out, they had him fair catch, which he didn't like. But it is what it is. You're just trying to put a game away. He also thinks he should be the kick returner. He didn't say that, but he got asked about should he be the kick returner, and he did the thing you do when you've been media trained, but also smiled about it. He's a blocker on kick return. He wants to be that, but he's clearly the punt returner already. 3,577 days. It was against Indiana. Jalen Marshall did it on November 22nd, 2014. They also won the national championship that year, if you guys remember. I think Brandon Ennis is going to do it twice on Saturday. I asked him what's his longest returned touchdown. He doesn't know the punt return, but he said his senior year of high school down there at American Heritage in Miami, Florida, he had a 96-yard kick return. I'm going to say this. 2 punt returns for a touchdown, one of which is going to be 90 yards or more. I'm getting outrageous with it. I'm in. I'm in on this idea that this kid, who was supposed to be their starting slot receiver, but Emeka Egbuka obviously didn't have the year he wanted to have last year, so he's back. But him not being on schedule also takes Brandon Ennis off schedule. But it helps that they're being aggressive in special teams because that guy feels more involved, and Ryan Day said he's going to be a vital member of the offense as well, being rotated in there. But his primary role is still going to be special teams, and I think we're going to see just how explosive Brandon Ennis is on Saturday. 2 punt returns for a touchdown, one of which is at least 90. That's what makes it outrageous, along with the fact that 3,577 days since the last time they did it. I'm Stephen Means. That's Andrew Gillis. That's Stefan Krajisnik. Ohio State versus Western Michigan, on Saturday. Get to text 614-350-3315 and go listen to Buckeye Talk wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you guys on Saturday.